to Overcomers TV on your favorite app or streaming platform. It's time to overcome.
All right, David, how did you first learn about HBI Global Partners?
So I'm currently the chairman of HBI Global Partners, but it really all began back in 2009 when our church, Christ Church, in the Chicagoland area, partnered with Bobby and HBI Global. And I actually had the opportunity of going on their very first short-term mission trip. And since then, I've been on 7 mission trips. So from that point on, when I met Bobby and I met the team there, I knew the minute I stepped down in India that I would be back again, and I had kept going back. And along the way, I've actually brought friends to that, and it's just been a life-changing event for me. And because of that, I ended up joining the board of HBI, and it's just been a terrific opportunity.
Awesome. So talk a little bit about the vision, the mission, the heartbeat of the ministry.
Well, the heartbeat of the ministry is obviously the work that's being done in India, and a lot of the work that we've done on the mission trips are for children at risk. That's where my heart is, the children at risk there. So there are a number of things that we do when we go on mission trips in India, and one of them is a drop-in center. And literally, we would go into a slum, or we'll go into a remote village, we'll put down a blanket, and we just call the children to come. And it's very much a holistic approach with those children. We talk about education, which most of them don't. We talk about hygiene. We talk about, we share Bible stories and values and so on. Now, many of these children really come from very, very tough, difficult circumstances. Most of the fathers or husbands are alcoholics, and they really, have a very difficult time. So what we do is we bring the joy of Christ to them, and through teaching them and through songs and through Bible verses, it really breaks, we're attempting to break the cycle of poverty which is all they know. And through that simple act of showing up and caring and sharing the love of Jesus, many lives have been changed. Many children, many families, Hindu families have come to Christ because of that.
So talk about those evangelism efforts, sharing the gospel. Talk about how the Lord's using the ministry to do that.
Yes, well, it's always a great opportunity when you're able to show up and share the Lord, the word of the Lord. And, it's just, it's a very freeing situation. Now in India, it's a little bit tough because, it's a Hindu country. So we do have to be careful, when we do that. But, we're able to really go in and share the gospel. And it's just amazing how receptive and open they are to it.
Talk about discipleship, making disciples, the Great Commission.
So the Great Commission, that is really the goal. I mean, our goal, I've seen many people be very reticent about visiting India. And usually when you try to recruit people for a mission trip, the first thing they'll say is, I really have nothing to share, or I don't feel like I'm ready. I don't feel like I have what it takes. HBI's approach is very different. The approach of HBI Global Partners is they actually train individuals to go. They'll do a spiritual gifts assessment, and to show you what your gifts are, and everyone has something to share. God gave us each different gifts, and when you bring a team together and you kind of bring those spiritual gifts together, it's really amazing what could be accomplished. And most people that do come that were reticent realize 90% of it was just showing up. So HBI Global Partners is based in North America, and it's an organization that reaches out to churches, to mobilize churches, to reach those in India and the world. And it's very simple. You can give us a call and just have a conversation with us. There's so many different ways to be able to get involved. Beyond just donating, there's opportunities that will allow you to adopt children in India, adopt pastors, and so on. So the best thing to do is have a conversation with HBI Global Partners.
So why do you do what you do?
So, you know, I've really dedicated my life to children at risk. I, at one point, was in the corporate world and decided that I was going to spend the second part of my life in some level of significance. And I found that significance to be at children at risk, whether they be special needs children, whether they be children in India that need to find the love of Jesus Christ. And that's what really brought me to HBI Global Partners, to keep going back to India. And that's what I do. Every day when I wake up, it's all about the children.
Awesome. Final question, is there anything else the Lord put on your heart to share with us about HBI Global Partners?
I would just say for those who are maybe not ready to take that step, you know, to really step up and serve, and maybe even visit India, to really think about that, and to really, you know, just to know that a big part is just showing up, and that you do have the skills, you do have the gifts necessary, you know, to change people's lives.
One more question. When you went to India, talk about how that trip to India changed your life.
So actually, the very first time that I went to India, I went to a friend's wedding, which was a Hindu wedding. And the minute you step into India, for me, it was a life-changing event. All your senses are just on fire. And I knew that someday I would come back. I had no idea why or how I would come back. The next trip was for a mission trip. And that really, really changed, you know, my life going forward. The other thing that I feel was important, you know, some people go on a short-term mission trip once, and they do good things. Maybe they're there for a week to 10 days, and they feel good about that. There's a difference when you keep showing up, because the difference is when you show up, you keep seeing the difference that you've made, and it's cumulative. And just one example of that is there's a school in Siliguri, a children's school. The very first time we visited, there were no students in it. It was an empty building. The second time we went, there were a half dozen students. As we kept going back, we found that they had an issue with transportation, so we raised money and we delivered them a school bus. Now there's 150 children in that school. So if we didn't keep going back, we would have never realized what the need was. We would have never delivered what they needed. And then we wouldn't have realized that germ of an idea that happened that very first trip was realized in maybe the third or the fourth trip. And it just continues to grow. So I would say for those who have missions on their heart, just don't go once, keep going back.
Horizon Media Studios, producers of the television series Answering the Call, is looking for Christ-centered, Bible-believing ministries to feature ministries like gospel rescue missions, homeless shelters, children's homes, Bible colleges and universities, mission sending agencies, pregnancy centers, and more. These are the doers of the word that James talks about. The Great Commission is to share the gospel and make disciples. Jesus taught us to pray the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest, and the harvest is ripe. We want to raise awareness of ministries and also mobilize the body of Christ to get involved and answer the call. Tell us about your favorite ministry. Email us at info@atctv.org.